Assalamu alaikum. Let's cook. Okay, people. Yvonne Missy Woods, American white woman, a retired DNA scientist for the state of Colorado. She's cased up. I've covered her a few years ago on the original Runaway Slave channel, and people pay attention to this case. You know what? I can't even say that, man. Just another one of them things, y'all. Very similar to the track queen Granny. Remember her? Joanne Segovia. She's the other white woman in this thumbnail right here. The white community is trying to get Yvonne Missy Woods off again, just like they did Joanne Segovia, the trap queen Granny. Now, this woman, Yvonne Missy Woods, she's a forensic laboratory scientist, DNA analyst for the Chicago Bureau of Investigation. Now, this is the state agency that operates Colorado's forensic crime laboratories. She worked with them from 1994 until her retirement in 2023. 29 years. She was big time in that field. Yvonne Missy Woods, okay? She's cased up because the state of Colorado said that she's guilty of data manipulation. Now, what is data manipulation? So data manipulation in a DNA crime lab means she was improperly altering, omitting, misrepresenting, falsifying information related to DNA testing or laboratory records. It can go from documentation errors, intentional misconduct. She's doing it all, okay? So doing things like changing laboratory records, omitting failed tests, editing, deleting data, misreporting results, falsifying quality control documentation, mislabeling samples, and also she's lying under oath and things like that. A DNA scientist, which is what she was, is one of the most important professionals in a modern crime lab, okay? In many of these criminal cases, the DNA evidence is the strongest thing that they have available. And she's falsifying things and lying and doing all kinds of nonsense. This is how you identify suspects, exclude innocent people, all that. So it's like Yvonne Missy Woods, in her position, if a DNA scientist does not do their job properly, the consequences could be terrible. Making an error purposely or even by mistake could affect victims, suspects in serious criminal cases. So what Yvonne Missy Woods was doing in her position as a DNA scientist is, instead of reporting accurate results, she was deliberately falsifying DNA evidence. In more than 30 sexual assault cases, she deleted specific values from DNA samples and submitted reports saying no male DNA found, when in fact, male DNA was there, okay? That's what she was doing. She was making evidence disappear, which means that people who are out doing the R word, they may have walked free because the DNA that could have convicted them was hidden. That's what she was doing, people. She also submitted fraudulent reports to 24 different law enforcement agencies across the state of Colorado. This went on from 2008 to 2023. For their record, she worked for many years, but they had 15 years of her falsifying evidence. Okay, now her career spanned way over 20 years, but falsifying evidence, they know for a fact that she did this for 15 years. Why did she do it? They have no idea. They have never given a clear motive as to why Missy was doing this. She never said why, but it sounds to me like she was instructed to do it, and she's protecting a serial sex deviant who's out there, which is why Yvonne Missy Woods has never said why she did this to this day. She hasn't said anything. It sounds like she was instructed to do this to protect, some American sex deviant, which is part of American culture. It's all a bunch of hypocrisy, you know what I'm saying? It's almost like, I don't even want to say that, but anyway. Now, due to what she did, over 1,000 criminal cases now in question. You've had murder convictions that were overturned. You had defendants in homicide cases who received lesser sentences because prosecutors, they didn't want her involvement, because they said, okay, man, if we bring her in, it's going to hurt our case. So we got to just give these people a slap on the wrist because it went through her lab. You get what I'm saying? They say that this woman's damage alone cost much more than $11 million. Now, she got caught. Time to face the punishment for Yvonne Missy Woods. Initially, she was charged with 102 felonies. She pled not guilty to all. So here's her plea deal, people. Listen to this. She agreed to plead guilty. Prosecutors dropped 98 of those charges. She ended up pleading guilty to just 4 felonies. She went from 102 to 4, which are cybercrime, perjury, forgery, and attempting to influence a public servant. Now, under this plea agreement, both sides agreed to a mandatory prison sentence of 8 to 16 years, yo. She remains free on bond right now. Her sentencing, September 8th, this year. Okay, this is sickening. And people are questioning this. It's like, how does somebody go from 102 felonies down to 4? They're trying to make sure that this woman doesn't get any time in prison. This is a white woman right here. This right here is even extreme for a white person. I get it. In America, white person, yeah, they're going to get much less time. That's the hypocrisy. But this right here, it's like super crazy. You know, a slap on the wrist for her right here would be 15 years. That'd be a slap on the wrist. She's going home off of this soon. You know what I mean? It's pretty obvious that Yvonne Missy Woods was on a mission to cover and protect somebody, some group of people somewhere for some horrible things that they did as far as being sex deviants. She's taking care of them, and she's taking one for the team, and the team is going to try to take care of her on the back end. There has been a Epstein connection theory circulating on social media because Yvonne Missy Woods falsified all these this DNA evidence in these sexual assault cases, and people are saying that, well, maybe she's connected to some Epstein stuff. I don't know. You know what I mean? This is a rumor on social media, but people are also bringing up a connection to JonBenet Ramsey. I don't know a whole lot about JonBenet Ramsey. When that whole thing with her went down, I think I was too young to even look, and I never even got all the way into what was going on. I know it was just a little white girl who went missing. I don't even know if they found her, but I know it was some kind of nasty stuff involved or whatever. But they're bringing up her name in this because Missy Woods, Yvonne Missy Woods, was working at the lab at the time that this happened to JonBenet Ramsey. There's no direct connection, only because the DNA evidence that came in for JonBenet Ramsey, it was sent to an outside lab. Missy Woods was working there. Okay, she was working there, but they sent it to an outside lab. And this case remains unsolved, and JonBenet's father is like 80, and he's still fighting for modern DNA testing to identify the killer. So this is what protecting evil people gets you, man. This is white peopling on a whole different level. White woman privilege. She's all the way in. It goes deep. I have a chapter in my book, The N-Word is No Secret in the Service. Amazon, pick it up. I can't put the links here right now, but I have a chapter called Promotions and White Woman Privilege. White women get away with some of the most white men do too. White men do too. But white women, because they're not even a majority in the field that the book is about, law enforcement, they get away with some of the most disgusting things, yo. I mean, all kinds of stuff. Now, this slap on the wrist that they're going to give Yvonne Missy Woods, she's already getting a slap on the wrist. I mean, it's like 8 years max or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Which they're going to get her out of that. But just pay attention and watch. It reminds me of the situation out of California. The white woman, Joanne Segovia. She's the other woman in that thumbnail right there. The Trap Queen Granny. Remember her? We followed her case from day one on the original Runaway Slave channel just to see what they were going to do. Big time drug dealer. Okay, she was the executive director of the San Jose Police Officers Association. Okay, for over 20 years. She's known as the grandmother of the police union. She confessed to running a years-long illegal drug smuggling operation out of her home from a supplier in India. She was getting money from 2019 to 2023. They intercepted over 5 shipments to her house, tens of thousands of pills and controlled substances. 61 parcels arrived to her home from 2015 to 2023. She kept on doing it even after she got caught. She kept on doing it. She was getting money on top of millions. And when they confronted her to ask her about it, she lied to them and she blamed these shipments on her housekeeper. Oh, my housekeeper has a drug problem. So we followed this situation, right? And the U.S. District Judge named Yumi K. Lee sentenced her to 3 years of probation and 100 hours of community service, 0 prison time. This was a maximum sentence that was supposed to carry 20 years max. Now, this is what their justification was for this white woman right here. Federal prosecutors said that, and her attorney, the prosecutors and her attorney said that Joanne was not motivated by greed, but by addiction. They said drug dealers get into the business to make money. Joanne Segovia was losing money. They said, in fact, she was hemorrhaging tens of thousands of dollars a year on her habit. So this is what they do for white people. They'll say, oh, yeah, she sold drugs. She caused death and destruction. Actually, a lot of white kids are dying from drugs and pills and overdoses. But Joanne, she didn't do it for greed. She didn't do it because she's greedy and she wanted money. No time for her. And this is why people don't respect the system. You know, this is why white people are called hypocrites, liars, pedophiles, thieves. It's ridiculous right here. How can you come to a black person and have them say, oh, you got to respect the system? Come on, man. When you black, you're going to do the time, but you can't respect what these people do, man. This is white devilism. You know what I mean? But pay attention to this Yvonne Missy Woods situation. Watch how they do her. Watch how they do her. They're saying that she faces 8 to 16 years in prison. September 8th, 2026. They're going to finagle some words, spin it around, you know, to where I don't think she's going to do any prison time. Anyway, people get in the comments. Easy.